Welcome to the Funeral Channel Network podcast. We are diving deep today into a topic that, quite honestly, most of us spend our entire lives trying to avoid thinking about. But then, inevitably, the moment arrives. You're in the middle of a whirlwind of grief, family logistics, and decision fatigue, and suddenly, a very specific, very high-pressure task lands on your lap.
It is the moment where the abstract reality of loss meets the very concrete reality of logistics. We are talking, of course, about designing the funeral program.
Right. And it's usually happening in this incredibly compressed time frame. We're talking 24 to 48 hours max.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah. The house is full of people, the phone is ringing off the hook, and someone looks at you and says, "Hey, you're good with computers, can you make the program?"
Which is, without a doubt, one of the most terrifying designations you can receive in a family crisis. Because this isn't just a document. It's not a memo.
Not at all.
It's a keepsake. It is the physical artifact that represents a life lived. It's what people take home with them.
No pressure,
Right.
right? Just sum up 80 years of life on a piece of folded cardstock, make it look professional, don't make any typos, and have it ready for the printer by tomorrow morning.
Exactly. And that brings us to the central question of this deep dive. When the stakes are that high and the time is that short and your emotional bandwidth is basically zero, what software should you actually use?
We are basing this conversation on a really comprehensive guide from the Funeral Program site, which breaks down the software landscape specifically for this task. They compare the heavy hitters, Microsoft Publisher, Word, Canva, InDesign, against the specific needs of a grieving family.
And I want to emphasize that specific needs part. This isn't a standard tech review. We aren't just looking at which software has the most features or the slickest interface.
No.
We are looking for the tool that offers the path of least resistance. We're looking for software that does not fight you while you are mourning.
That is a profound distinction. Software that doesn't fight you. Because the last thing you need at 3 a.m. when you're trying to align a photo of your grandmother is for the computer to decide to move the entire obituary to the next page for no reason.
We have all been there. So our roadmap for today is to really unpack this ecosystem. We're going to look at the benchmark, which is Microsoft Publisher. We're going to look at the universal default Microsoft Word,
The one everyone reaches for.
the one everyone reaches for first. We're going to look at the modern disruptor, Canva, and the professional heavyweights like InDesign.
But before we get into the software wars, so to speak, we need to define the target. What are we actually trying to build? What makes a funeral program good? Because if we don't know what the goal is, the tool doesn't matter.
That is the critical first step. You have to reverse engineer the product from the environment it's going to be used in. According to our source material, there are 4 pillars that define a successful program. And the first one is purely practical: readability.
Okay, readability. That sounds obvious. You want people to be able to read it, but drill down into that. What does that mean in the context of a funeral service?
Think about the room: a sanctuary, a funeral home chapel, maybe a graveside. What is the lighting usually like?
Usually dim. It's atmospheric, respectful, maybe a little somber. It's definitely not bright, clinical office lighting.
Exactly. It's dim. Now, think about the audience. You likely have a significant number of elderly guests. Their eyesight might not be what it used to be. And then think about the emotional state of everyone in the room.
People are crying, eyes are puffy, maybe filled with tears. Your vision gets blurry.
Precisely. So if you design a program with a beautiful, delicate 8-point script font in a light gray color because it looked elegant on your backlit computer monitor,
It's going to be invisible in the room.
it fails completely. If the text cannot be read in a dim room through tears, the program has failed its primary function, which is to guide people through the service. So high contrast and a decent size are non-negotiable.
That is such a great reality check. You're not designing for a perfect situation, you're designing for a really difficult one. What's the second pillar?
Photo quality. This is often the most cherished part of the program. For many people, this piece of paper becomes the primary visual memory they take home.
Right. They stick it on their fridge or in their Bible.
They do. It becomes a touchstone.
Yeah.
And that photo needs to honor the person.
So no blurry photos.
No blurry photos. But achieving that is harder than it sounds. And we'll get into the technical reasons why, the difference between screen resolution and print resolution a bit later. But the standard is crisp, clear, and dignified. No pixelated messes.
Got it. What's number 3?
Print mechanics. This is where the physical reality of the paper kicks in. We aren't making a web page. We're making a folded object.
Right. Bifolds, trifolds, all the different folds.
The source material goes into detail about the formats. You have the standard bifold 1 sheet, folded in half, 4 panels, simple, and the trifold 6 panels. But then you have things like granulated folds.
I've seen those. That's where the paper is folded in steps, almost like a file folder system, so you have these little tabs running down the side.
Yes. They are visually stunning when they work. They allow you to put a heading on each tab, obituary, order of service, acknowledgments. But technically, they are a beast to set up.
How so?
If your margin is off by 2 millimeters, the text falls off the tab, and the whole effect is ruined. It requires absolute precision.
So the software has to be able to handle precise measurements. It's not just about dragging and dropping.
It demands precision, and that includes something called bleeds.
Okay, use that term bleed for a second. We hear it in printing, but what does it actually mean for the layperson who's just trying to get this done?
It's a printing term. Most printers, especially home printers, cannot print all the way to the absolute edge of the paper. There's always a little white border, a gripper margin.
Right.
So if you want a photo or a background color to go all the way to the edge, to look seamless and professional, you actually have to print the image slightly larger than the paper and then trim the paper down. That extra zone is the bleed.
And if your software doesn't know how to handle bleeds, you end up with that ugly white border around everything.
Which just screams amateur. It breaks the immersion. And finally, the fourth pillar is the vibe. The program needs to feel warm, respectful, and intentional.
Intentional. I like that word. It shouldn't look like a template you grabbed for a corporate brochure.
Or a fast food menu. It needs to have a quietness to the design. It needs to honor the person, not shout at the reader. It's about creating space for reflection.
So we have these criteria: readability, photo quality, mechanics, and vibe. That's the target. Now let's talk about the tools we use to hit that target. The source material starts with what they consider the benchmark for the average user: Microsoft Publisher.
Yes. They frame Publisher as occupying a specific sweet spot. It's not the most powerful tool in the world, and it's not the simplest. But for this specific task, it fits very well.
Why is Publisher the baseline? What makes it better suited for this than, say, the Word document I use every day?
It comes down to the mental model of the software. How does the software think about what you are doing? Publisher uses what's called a frame-based or object-oriented model.
Okay, let's unpack that. Pages and objects. What does that really mean?
Imagine a physical desk. You have a piece of paper on the desk. You have a Polaroid photo, and you have a scrap of paper with a poem written on it.
Okay.
In Publisher, you can pick up that photo and place it anywhere on the page. You can pick up the poem and place it anywhere. They're independent objects. They don't really interact unless you tell them to.
They don't affect each other?
Generally, no.
Mm-hmm.
If you move the photo to the bottom right, the poem doesn't magically jump to the next page. The page is a canvas, and you're placing tiles on it.
That seems logical. That's how I would organize a bulletin board. It's how my brain works.
Exactly. It matches how human beings visualize a layout. I want the picture here and the text there. Publisher allows you to do that literally. You draw a box, you put stuff in it, the box stays where you put it.
So it gives you control. It's predictable.
It gives you layout control without requiring you to learn complex professional software. It has built-in templates for trifolds, it understands standard paper sizes, and it handles margins reasonably well. It's designed for brochures and flyers.
And there's a big but here. Publisher is kind of a relic, isn't it? It feels like software from another era.
It definitely has some legacy issues. The source material points out some hidden downsides that can really trip people up. And the biggest one is the Windows barrier.
Publisher is PC only.
Strictly PC.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has never made a version of Publisher for Mac. So imagine this scenario. You're the tech person in the family. You have a Windows laptop. You start designing the program in Publisher. You get it halfway done. Then you need your sister to proofread the obituary and maybe add the pallbearers' names. She has a MacBook.
She's stuck. She can't do anything.
She cannot open the file, period. There's no workaround.
So now you're in this weird workflow hell where you have to export a PDF, email it to her. She has to type her changes in an email or mark up the PDF, send it back to you, and you have to manually enter them.
Which is incredibly inefficient and prone to errors.
Mm.
And that leads to the second major friction point, collaboration, or the lack thereof. Publisher is a desktop application. It lives on your hard drive.
Right. It's not in the cloud. It's an old school way of working.
So you are stuck emailing files back and forth. Program v1.pub, program v2final.pug, program 3 actually finalistthezone.pub.
And inevitably, someone edits the wrong version. Cousin Bob is looking at version 2 while you're working on version 4.
Every single time. You end up with version control chaos.
Wow.
One person fixes a date in version 2, another person changes a photo in version 3, and now you have to manually merge them. When you are sleep-deprived and grieving, this is a recipe for a breakdown.
Yeah, that's the last thing you need. And the source also mentions something about assets. Publisher isn't Photoshop.
No. Publisher is a layout tool. It is a box mover. It assumes that the ingredients you are putting into the boxes are already good.
So garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. If you have a blurry, dark, low-resolution photo of your uncle that you pulled from Facebook and you drop it into Publisher, Publisher says, okay, here's your blurry, dark photo.
It won't fix it for you. It's not magic.
It has very basic tools, but it won't perform miracles. You have to prepare your photos and text beforehand.
So Publisher is reliable, steady, object-oriented, but clunky on collaboration and stuck in the Windows ecosystem. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The software that 99% of people open by default. Microsoft Word.
The universal choice. And the source material refers to this quite ominously as the familiarity trap.
Why is it a trap? It feels safe. Everyone knows how to bold text and change fonts in Word. My mom can use Word.
That is exactly why it is a trap. You start using it because it feels comfortable. You type the obituary, it looks good. You type the order of service, it looks good. Then you decide to add a photo.
And the world ends.
The document explodes. The text that was on page 1 jumps to page 2. The margins go haywire. The photo refuses to sit where you want it. It floats around or snaps to weird places.
Why does it do that? Why is Word so hostile to photos? I've spent hours of my life fighting with Word over images.
It's not hostile. It's just confused.
Mhm.
Word is a stream-based processor.
Mhm.
Think of the text in Word like a river. It flows from the top of the page to the bottom, line by line. It is designed to maintain that flow.
Okay, a river of text. I like that analogy. And placing a photo.
Placing a photo is like dropping a giant boulder into the river.
Yeah.
The water, which is the text, has to flow around it. The software has to constantly calculate, does the text go over the rock, under the rock, split around the rock?
Ah.
And every time you nudge that rock, even a millimeter, the river has to reroute itself instantly.
That is the jumping object problem. I've lived it.
Exactly. Word anchors images to specific paragraphs. So if you delete a sentence 3 paragraphs up, the anchor moves, and the photo moves with it, even if you didn't want it to. You end up fighting the layout engine.
It feels like a wrestling match. And you're not going to win.
You're not. And for a funeral program, especially a trifold, you're asking Word to do something it hates. You're asking it to create panels.
Right. A trifold needs 3 distinct columns of text that fold perfectly.
To do that in Word, you usually have to use the columns feature or create a complex table with invisible borders.
Tables. The last refuge of the desperate designer.
And getting the math right. If you have an 11-inch piece of paper and you need 3 panels, they aren't actually all equal size. The inner panel has to be slightly smaller to fold inside. Word does not help you with that math. You are on your own.
So is the expert advice to just ban Word? Burn it down? Tell people to never use it for this?
No, actually. The source is very nuanced. They argue there's an ideal use case for Word.
Okay, when is it okay to step into the trap? When is it safe?
When the program is simple and text-heavy, if you are doing a standard bifold, just fold it in half and it's mostly text, obituary, order of service, a poem, maybe one photo centered at the top, Word is fine.
Because you aren't fighting the flow. You're not dropping a bunch of boulders in the river.
Exactly. If you respect the river's fine. And frankly, for typing and editing text, Word is superior. If the family is fighting over the wording of the eulogy, use Word's track changes feature.
Right, so you can see who changed what. That's a lifesaver.
It is. So a good strategy is often to collaborate on the text in Word and then maybe design it somewhere else.
That makes sense. Separate the writing from the layout.
If the text is the battleground, use a word processor. If the design is the battleground, use a layout tool.
Which brings us to the new challenger. The one that has really changed the game in the last 5 years. Canva.
The rise of browser-based design. This is a generational shift. It's a whole different way of thinking.
Why is Canva taking over this space? What is its big advantage?
It solves the 2 biggest pain points of the other tools, the blank page panic and the collaboration friction.
Let's start with the panic. I know that feeling. You open the software and you're just staring at a white screen.
In Publisher or InDesign, you open the software and you get that white screen. You have to build everything from scratch. In Canva, you type funeral program into the search bar, and you are presented with hundreds of professionally designed templates.
Soft floral backgrounds, elegant typography, nice layouts. The hard work is already done.
It gets you 80% of the way there instantly. You just have to swap the text and the photos. It removes the need to be a designer. It gives you a huge head start.
And the collaboration.
This is the killer feature. Because Canva lives in the web browser, it is cloud native. You can send a link to your brother in California, your aunt in London, and your cousin in New York. They can all click the link and see the document.
At the same time, can they edit it together?
Yes. In real time. You can literally watch your cousin's cursor moving around the screen, fixing a typo while you are uploading a photo. It eliminates the email chain completely.
That sounds like the holy grail, speed plus collaboration. But I'm sensing a but. There's always a catch.
There are risks, and there are seductive risks, because Canva makes everything look so good on screen that you might miss the technical flaws until it's too late.
What are the flaws? What should people watch out for?
First and foremost, print precision. Canva was originally built for digital graphics, Instagram posts, Facebook headers. It thinks in pixels, not necessarily in inches and millimeters.
So what happens when you print? What does that mean in practical terms?
Users often misunderstand the panel orders. On a trifold, the panel on the far right of the screen is actually the front cover when folded.
Oh, wow.
The panel on the far left is the inside flap. It's confusing spatial geometry. Canva doesn't always make that clear.
So you might design the front cover on the wrong panel, print 100 copies, fold them, and realize the cover is actually tucked inside.
We see that all the time. Or the safe zones. You put text right up to the edge of the design because it looks cool. But printers shift. Paper moves. If you are too close to the edge, the printer might chop off the first letter of every sentence.
Ooh, that's painful. And then there's the issue of the template look.
That's the aesthetic downside. If you search funeral program and pick the first result, well, thousands of other people did too, your loved one's unique tribute looks exactly like everyone else's. It can feel a bit cookie cutter.
You want it to feel personal, not generic. And resolution.
This is a big one. In Canva, you can take a tiny low-quality image and stretch it to be a background. Canva will let you do it. It looks fine on a phone screen, but print requires 300 dots per inch, or DPI. Screens only need 72.
So you print it out, and it's a blur, a mess of pixels.
It looks like Minecraft blocks. And Canva won't stop you from making that mistake. It assumes you know what you are doing with resolution.
So Canva is best for speed and collaboration, but you have to be really vigilant about the technical details before you hit print.
Yes. It creates a very attractive PDF for home printing, but you need to double-check your fold and your resolution. Be your own quality control.
Let's move up to the major leagues. The professionals. We're talking Adobe InDesign and Affinity Publisher.
The gold standard. If you walk into a professional print shop and ask them to design a program for you, this is what they are using. 99% of the time, it's InDesign.
What does InDesign give you that Publisher and Canva don't? Why is it the pro tool?
Total granular control. But the superpower, the feature that really matters for this discussion, is Master Pages.
Master Pages. It sounds commanding. What does it do?
Let's say you are doing a booklet, a high-end memorial booklet, maybe 12 or 16 pages. You want a page number in the bottom corner of every page. You want a header that says, "In loving memory," at the top of every page.
Okay, that makes sense for a booklet.
In Canva or Word, you typically have to copy and paste that onto every single page. If you nudge it by accident on page 5, it's out of alignment.
And you might not even notice until it's printed.
Right. In InDesign, you set up a master page. You put the page number and header there once, and the software automatically projects it onto every page in the document.
In the exact same spot. Every time.
Pixel perfect. If you decide to change the font of the header, you change it on the master, and it updates the entire booklet instantly. It ensures perfect consistency.
That sounds incredible. It sounds like a huge time saver. Why doesn't everyone use it?
The barrier to entry is massive. It's a wall. First, the learning curve. InDesign is professional software. It has hundreds of menus and tools. You cannot learn it in the 48 hours before a funeral.
It's like trying to learn to fly a commercial jet because you need to get to the grocery store.
A perfect analogy.
Right.
You will spend more time fighting the interface and watching YouTube tutorials than designing the program. And then there's the cost.
Ah, yes. Adobe is a subscription service.
It's expensive. Are you going to sign up for a monthly contract for one weekend of work? Probably not.
No.
Affinity Publisher is mentioned in the source as a solid alternative. It's a one-time purchase and works on both Mac and Windows, but it still requires that design knowledge. It assumes you understand typography, CMYK color space, and free press.
So these are not tools for beginners under pressure and collaboration.
Non-existent for families. You can't send an InDesign file to your grandma. She can't open it. It requires high design literacy from everyone involved.
So InDesign is for when you are hiring a pro or if you happen to be a designer yourself?
Correct. Do not try to be a hero and learn InDesign on the fly. It will only add to your stress.
Let's quickly touch on the outliers mentioned in the outline. Google Docs, Apple Pages, Scribus. Where do they fit in this whole ecosystem?
Google Docs is the collaboration king for text, but a layout nightmare.
Worse than Word for layout.
For layout, yes. It has even fewer tools than Word for managing images and columns. Do not try to design a trifold in Google Docs. You will go insane.
There must be a but.
But it is the absolute best tool for the drafting phase. Use Google Docs to get the text right. Put the obituary there, put the order of service there, let the family comment, edit, and argue in the doc.
So you separate the writing from the designing. You contain the chaos in one place.
Exactly. Once the text is locked and approved in Google Docs, you copy and paste it into your layout tool, whether that's Publisher, Canva, whatever. That is the pro workflow.
What about Apple Pages for the Mac users out there?
Pages is the middle ground for Mac users. It's actually a beautiful piece of software. It has a much calmer layout engine than Word. The typography defaults are lovely. It's much less likely to fight you.
But it isolates you.
It's an island. If everyone involved has a Mac, great. But if you send a .pages file to a Windows user, they can't open it. If you convert it to Word, the formatting breaks. It creates friction.
And Scribus. I've never even heard of that one.
Scribus is the open source alternative to InDesign. It's free. It's powerful, has all the pro features like bleeds and master pages, but the interface is very technical. It's not user-friendly at all. For a grieving family under time pressure, fighting with a quirky open source interface is just too much friction.
Okay, so we have surveyed the landscape. We have the box mover, Publisher, the stream, which is Word, the cloud, Canva, and the pros with InDesign. Now, let's get to the practical advice, the compassionate bottom line.
This is where we need to make a decision. The source provides a decision matrix based on real-world weights. It's not about which software is best, but which is best for you right now.
Let's walk through the factors. Factor number 1, time and emotional bandwidth.
This is the most important variable. If you have 24 hours and you haven't slept and you are emotionally exhausted, choose the path of least resistance.
Don't try to learn a new tool. Don't be a hero.
Exactly. If you know Word, use Word, but keep the design simple so it doesn't fight you. If you know Canva and you're comfortable with it, use Canva. Do not decide that today is the day you are going to master Affinity Publisher.
Factor number 2, collaboration. How many cooks are in the kitchen?
Right. If the siblings need to approve details, do not use a desktop tool like Publisher or InDesign. Use cloud tools.
So Google Docs for the text or Canva for the whole layout?
Yes. Do not underestimate the stress of the email attachment dance. It will drive you crazy. A shared link is a shared reality.
I like that. A shared link is a shared reality. Factor number 3, print destination.
Where is the final file going? Are you printing it at home or taking it to a professional? If you are printing on your inkjet printer in the spare room, simplicity wins. You can print a Word doc or a Pages doc easily.
But if you are going to a professional printer, a Kinko's or a local print shop?
If you are sending it to a print shop, they want a high-quality PDF, ideally with bleeds. That favors InDesign, Publisher, or a carefully exported Canva file. If you send a Word doc to a professional printer, the fonts might change, the layout might shift when they open it. It's risky.
And the last one, factor number 4, file portability.
Will the funeral home need to touch it? This happens a lot. You do the design, but the funeral director needs to add the final time for the cemetery or the specific hymn numbers right at the last minute.
And they probably have a Windows PC with Word on it, and that's it.
Almost certainly. They might not have Publisher. They definitely won't have InDesign. So if you need to hand off the editable file for a final tweak, Word or a link to a Google Doc are your safest bets.
Let's make this real. I want to run some scenarios. I'll give you a situation, a specific family dynamic and need, and you tell me which software they should use.
Let's do it. Role play time.
Okay. Scenario A, the fast and simple. We need a bifold, just fold it in half, one nice photo of Dad on the cover, order of service inside, a short poem on the back. We have very little time, and I am not a designer. I'm panicked.
Use Microsoft Word or Apple Pages. Don't overthink it. Since it's a bifold, you don't have complex panels to worry about. You can set the margins wide, center the photo, type the text. The linear flow of word works fine here because the design is simple. The river is calm.
Okay, that feels manageable. Scenario B, the visual tribute. Mom was an artist. She had a vibrant life. We want a themed background, maybe watercolors, and we want a collage of 10, 15 photos of her from different decades scattered throughout the program. It's a trifold.
Do not use Word. I repeat, do not use Word. You will cry. Word cannot handle a collage of 15 images layered over a background. It will explode.
So what's the alternative?
Use Publisher or Canva. You need an object-oriented tool where you can stack photos, rotate them, and move them around freely without breaking the text. Canva is probably better if you need family to help you pick the photos because of the collaboration.
That makes sense. Okay, scenario C, the booklet. This is a big one. 16 pages, stapled in the middle, full obituary, letters from grandchildren, hymns, a timeline of her life. It needs to look really polished.
This is a major project. This requires page consistency. You have the budget, hire a pro to do this in InDesign. That is the best option.
And if you can't, if you have to do it yourself...
If you are doing it yourself, do not use Canva. It gets messy with that many pages.
Yeah.
And definitely do not use Word. I'd say Affinity Publisher or Microsoft Publisher.
Yeah.
You need a tool that understands booklet printing, automatically arranging the pages so they print in the right order for stapling.
Right, because page 1 and page 16 are actually printed on the same sheet of paper.
Exactly. That's called imposition. Proper layout software handles that math for you. Word makes it very, very hard.
Okay, last one. Scenario D, the committee. There are 6 siblings. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone wants to edit the obituary. The group chat is chaotic.
Split the workflow. This is critical. Do not let 6 people edit a design file. Draft the text in Google Docs. Send that one link to all the siblings. Let them fight it out in the comments section of the doc. Let them argue over commas there.
Contain the chaos.
Exactly. Once the text is approved by everyone, one person, and only one person, becomes the designated driver. They take that final approved text and lay it out in Canva or Publisher. Do not let the committee design.
Do not let the committee design. That is golden advice for any project, really.
It saves relationships. Design by committee is hard enough. Design by grieving committee is impossible.
We've picked our software. We're doing the work. Now let's talk about the landmines. What are the common pitfalls that lead to heartbreak at the printer?
The first one is the classic resolution trap. It looked fine on screen.
We touched on this. The screen lies to you.
It does. Screens are backlit. They push light through the image, which makes everything look brighter and sharper. Paper absorbs ink. It's reflective. Images always print darker and softer than they look on screen.
So how do we safeguard against that? What's the practical tip?
Avoid screenshots. If you see a photo of your dad on Facebook, do not screenshot it. Find the person who posted it and ask them to email you the original file. If you have physical photos, scan them at a high-resolution 300 dpi or higher, and brighten your photos just a little bit before printing. They always print darker than you think.
Pitfall number 2, the misaligned fold.
You design your trifold. It looks perfect on screen. The panels are all lined up. You send it to the printer, get 100 copies on expensive cardstock. You fold the first one, and the crease goes right through the order of service heading. Or the back panel is off-center, leaving a white stripe.
That is heartbreaking. Paper isn't cheap, and time is short.
The safeguard is simple. The dummy copy. Print one draft on cheap, regular copy paper first. Fold it, hold it up to the light. See where the text falls relative to the fold. Adjust your margins before you load the good paper.
That one 5-minute step could save you hundreds of dollars and a lot of tears.
Absolutely. Pitfall number 3, the cramped page.
Oh, I've seen this. Trying to fit a whole life onto one page.
We want to honor the person, so we try to include everything. Every verse of the hymn, every grandchild's name, a long poem, the full obituary.
And the font size gets smaller and smaller
Yeah.
and smaller.
And suddenly you have a wall of text in 9-point font that no one can read, especially not in a dim chapel.
What's the fix for that?
Be ruthless with editing. Or move the long text, like the full obituary or a long list of acknowledgments, to the back cover. Prioritize readability. White space is not empty space. It is breathing room. It gives the eye a place to rest and makes the whole thing feel more peaceful.
That's a beautiful way to put it. White space is breathing room. And finally, pitfall number 4, version control chaos.
We talked about this. The safeguard is to assign one file owner and set a hard deadline. You have to be firm. Tell the family, I need all changes by Thursday at 6:00 p.m. After that, the file's locked and go into the printer.
You have to be the bad guy for the good of the project.
You do, but it is an active service to be the firm one. You are protecting the dignity of the final product and preventing last-minute mistakes.
Now, let's elevate the conversation. We've talked about software and mechanics, but the source material ends with a section on emotional design principles. This is about the soul of the document.
Yes, this is what separates a good program from a great one. You can make a technically perfect program that feels cold, and you can make a simple program that feels deeply moving. The difference is in these principles.
Principle number 1, use a grid.
This sounds technical, but it's psychological. Even if you don't see lines on the page, align your elements. If you have 3 photos, make sure they align on the left edge. Make sure the text blocks align at the top.
Why does that matter emotionally?
Because the human eye finds comfort in order. Alignment creates a sense of peace and calm. Misalignment, things just floating randomly on the page, creates subconscious visual stress.
Ah,
In a funeral setting, you want to project peace, not chaos.
alignment is peace. I love that. Principle number 2, limit fonts.
Please, do not use 5 different fonts. It looks messy and chaotic. Pick one serif font, like Times New Roman, Garamond, or Georgia, for the main text. It's traditional and easy to read. Then maybe pick one nice simple accent font for headers. That's it, 2 fonts max.
Keep it simple, keep it calm. Principle number 3, hierarchy.
The most important information should be the biggest and easiest to find. The name of the deceased should be the largest thing on the cover. The order of service headings should be bold. Don't make the reader hunt for information. Guide them gently through the document.
Principle number 4, photo intent.
Don't just dump every photo you find onto the page to fill space. Curate them. Choose photos that show different facets of their life.
So not just the formal portraits.
No, a formal portrait, yes, but also a candid moment of them laughing.
Yeah.
A picture of them doing a hobby they loved. A picture showing their connection to other people. Tell a story with the images.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. 3 amazing, meaningful photos are better than 20 tiny, blurry ones that are hard to see.
And a practical tip I saw in there, line spacing.
Yes, this is a subtle but powerful one. Increase it. Standard line spacing or single spacing is tight. Open it up to 1.15 or 1.2. It creates that breadth on the page we talked about. It makes long paragraphs much easier to read, especially when your eyes are tired or teary.
And the final principle, which might be the most important, the ritual of proofreading.
This is vital. Read it aloud. Reading aloud forces you to slow down and catches clunky phrasing. Check the dates. Birth and death dates are the most common error. Check the spelling of every single name.
And the source suggests asking a non-family member to check it. Why is that?
Because the family suffers from context blindness. You know how to spell Aunt Sheila, so your brain automatically fixes it when you read it, even if it's misspelled on the page.
Your brain sees what it expects to see.
Exactly. A stranger, a neighbor, a friend doesn't have that context. They will spot the error immediately because it just looks wrong to them.
That is incredibly wise advice. It saves so much heartache later. You don't want to look at that program in 10 years and only see the typo.
It's the one thing that will stand out forever if it's wrong.
So, bringing this all home, we've gone through the tools, the pitfalls, the principles. What's the big takeaway for someone who's just been handed this task?
It means that a funeral program isn't a marketing brochure. It isn't a resume. It requires quietness, space, and balance. It is a functional guide, yes, but it is also a final printed tribute.
And the best software isn't the one with the most bells and whistles or the one the internet says is the best.
No, the best software is the one that allows you to create that tribute with the least amount of friction. If you are fighting the software, you aren't mourning and you aren't honoring, you are just troubleshooting.
So choose the tool that respects your time and your grief. If that's Word, use Word, but keep it simple. If it's Canva, use Canva, but check your print settings. Just know the pitfalls and navigate around them.
Precisely. Be kind to your future self.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to mull over. We live in a world of cloud edits, digital photos, and ephemeral screens. We scroll past thousands of images a day that we forget in a second. But a funeral program, that is ink on paper.
It is. It has weight. You can hold it.
It is a physical object. People take them home, they put them in their Bibles, they put them in shoeboxes. 50 years from now, that piece of paper might be the only physical record of that day.
That is a powerful contrast. The tools we use are temporary and digital publisher versions, Canva links, they all disappear. But the object we create is permanent. It remains long after the browser tab is closed.
It really makes you appreciate the gravity of pressing print.
It certainly does. It's a profound responsibility, but also a beautiful one.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it helps you navigate a difficult task with a little more clarity and confidence.
Take care.
See you next time.